Hello everyone, it's James here on the Crypto Swiss channel, and wow, this moment has been a long time coming. Check out this headline. SEC's Mark Uyeda opens investigation into Bill Henman's 2018 speech. You just love to see it, don't you? Now, Mark Uyeda is currently the acting chairman over at the SEC, stepping in after Kim Jong-Gensler. Yes, the former supreme leader and dictator of the SEC is finally out. Good riddance. We're expecting Paul Atkins to take over as the official SEC chair soon. Tired of fake gurus who claim to be expert traders but never trade live? I trade live on the second largest crypto exchange, where everything is transparent and results can't be faked. For over 440 days, I've consistently closed every month in profit. In the last 90 days alone, my followers have earned over $34,000 in profits with only 4% drawdown. Verified results, not empty claims. Want to see my verified stats? Click the first link in my profile and start copying my trades for free today. And honestly, there's no real reason to think he won't be approved. But while we wait, Mark Uyeda is at the helm. And let me tell you, he's shaking things up. Justice for XRP holders is finally on the horizon. Here's the thing. We knew we were in the right all along. But what's really interesting is the attention now on Bill Henman's 2018 speech. Remember how they said it was just his opinion? Turns out, not so much. SEC insiders, including former SEC Chair Jay Clayton, had their hands all over the draft, giving feedback and edits. And despite the "it's only his opinion" tagline, parts of that speech somehow influenced the SEC's policy decisions on crypto. Now, all of that is under the microscope. And honestly, it's about time. This is big news, and I'm here for it. We're diving into all the details, but before we go further, let me be upfront. I'm not a financial expert, and this isn't financial advice. You absolutely shouldn't make any financial decisions based on what I say, okay? I'm just a crypto enthusiast who loves making YouTube videos for fun. This is purely a hobby. Now let's set the stage a bit, because context is key here. Even if you've been following this saga for years like I have, it's worth revisiting just how shocking this really is, especially when you consider what former SEC Director Bill Henman did. I came across an intriguing piece from attorney John Deaton titled "The Henman Investigation: The Chance for the SEC to Get Something Right." It's from February 15th, 2024. Here's the kicker. It didn't just take a village. It took an army of activists, lawyers, and everyday citizens to demand transparency from the SEC. The moment William Henman took the stage in San Francisco on June 14, 2018, and declared Ethereum's native token, Ether, was not a security, something felt off. Interestingly, Henman's speech wasn't listed on the SEC's official calendar, a curious omission. The SEC, under various chairmen including the current one, Gary Gensler, has consistently refused to prejudge the status of any digital token. That is, of course, with one glaring exception, Henman's speech on Ether. Fast forward 6 years, countless lawsuits, and tens of thousands of public comments later, and today we learned something big. The SEC Office of the Inspector General, OIG, is in the final stretch of an investigation into the apparent impropriety and conflicts of interest surrounding Henman's infamous speech and his actions as the SEC's Director of Corporation Finance. Word is, the investigation is also scrutinizing how the SEC ethics team managed, or failed to manage, Henman's documented behavior. Now here's the kicker. We're still waiting for the findings, but there's growing optimism under the current administration and new SEC leadership. I'm hopeful we'll finally get the transparency we've been seeking. It's not out yet, but I feel confident we're inching closer to uncovering the truth. And honestly, if justice is served, the conclusion should be crystal clear. William Henman acted improperly. Let's dig a little deeper to uncover why this story matters. Deaton leads us into what he calls decentralized justice. Powered by hundreds of internet sleuths working together, they quickly unearthed a bombshell. Henman's SEC financial disclosures revealed he was raking in millions from his former law firm, Simpson Thacher. And guess what? Simpson Thacher just so happened to be part of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, a group dedicated to boosting Ethereum. Things got even more intriguing when sleuths dug up dozens of videos featuring Henman, SEC officials, and key Ethereum players, openly discussing what was happening, in front of cameras and behind closed doors. All of this centered around what became known as Henman's Ether speech. Deaton compiled these clips into a video library on the Crypto Law website, allowing the evidence of potential conflicts of interest to come into focus. Meanwhile, Ripple's legal team, defending Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson against the SEC's lawsuit over XRP, was in a fierce battle to obtain Henman's internal emails and speech drafts. The fight dragged on for years as the SEC did everything it could to keep those documents hidden. Magistrate Judge Sarah Netburn even called them out for a lack of faithful allegiance to the law. The plot thickens. As amicus counsel representing 75,000 XRP holders in this case, I couldn't agree more with Judge Netburn's sharp conclusion. Back in August 2021, Empower Oversight, a government watchdog, took action, filing Freedom of Information Act requests and lawsuits after the SEC stubbornly refused to comply. It took years of relentless effort to finally force the SEC to hand over emails that exposed how Henman raked in millions in payments from Simpson Thacher. The emails revealed he was repeatedly warned about having, quote, a criminal financial conflict, end quote, if he interacted with the law firm, and yet he ignored the warnings. Let's pause here for a moment. John Deaton has publicly and boldly stated this isn't just an accusation. He claims Bill Henman broke the law in a criminal way. Notice something? Henman hasn't challenged Deaton on this. Why? Because he knows that wouldn't end well for him. That's why John Deaton is so fiercely confident. He knows he's standing on solid legal ground, and the facts back him up. It couldn't be clearer. To drive the point home, the Henman emails obtained by Empower Oversight show he repeatedly met with Simpson Thacher, including sitting down with Chris Lin, head of their China office, while a client of theirs had a pending IPO application under his division. The emails revealed direct contact between Joseph Lubin, a prominent promoter of Ether, and Bill Henman before the infamous 2018 speech. Coincidence? Doubt it. In May 2022, Empower Oversight flagged evidence of these conflicts to the SEC OIG. Cue the legal tango with the SEC that's been dragging on for nearly 2 years. Requests for internal communications? Ignored. Litigation? Ongoing. That's why today's confirmation of the OIG investigation is such a game changer. It's a win for everyone fighting to hold this agency accountable and force transparency. But we're not done yet. This progress feels like a domino effect, driven by shifts in leadership and priorities. Love or hate President Trump, and setting politics aside, these ripple effects on the economy, finance, and crypto are undeniable. XRP holders, in particular, might want to pay attention. This could be the justice they've been waiting for. So here's the headline. SEC's Mark Uyeda launches investigation into Bill Henman's 2018 speech. The stuff that doesn't belong? I'm feeling pretty optimistic. It's all getting pulled out and torn apart. The moves the SEC has been making recently, even before a new chair officially stepped in, have been incredibly promising, and there's more to come. Think about it. Lawsuits that dragged on for years have suddenly been shut down. Even before the new SEC chair took over, investigations were being dropped left and right. Case in point, the SEC v. Ripple appeal, it's done. We all know how that turned out. And Ripple dropping their cross appeal, that's just the icing on the cake. Everything we hoped for years ago is happening right now. Here's where it gets even better. Mark Uyeda, acting SEC chair, has officially launched a full internal review targeting previous staff actions, starting with Bill Henman's infamous 2018 Ether speech. For those of us who've been following this for years, this is the moment we've been waiting for. Remember when people dismissed the XRP community as conspiracy theorists? They said, "What are you talking about? Nothing shady here. No favoritism. No impropriety." Well, guess what? Now all those cracks are being exposed and it's all falling apart. If you're an XRP holder, this is the kind of sweet justice you've been dreaming of. It's finally happening, and it feels so good to watch it all unfold. On Saturday, Uyeda tasked agency staff with identifying outdated statements and guidance that need to be scrapped or revamped to align with the agency's current priorities. One of the first targets? The 2019 Framework for Investment Contract Analysis of Digital Assets, a document heavily influenced by Henman's infamous 2018 speech. Back then, as head of the Division of Corporation Finance, Henman pushed the controversial idea that a crypto token's legal status hinges more on the project's level of decentralization than on how the asset was initially sold. The new SEC seems ready to bury or overhaul that notion, leaning on findings from the Crypto Task Force and its updated stance. Let's be clear, decentralization isn't part of the Howey test. Sure, you can analyze decentralization to understand the players in an ecosystem or to uncover a common enterprise, but it's not a defining factor under Howey's framework. Essentially, Henman was bending decades of precedent to fit his own narrative. Why? Well, it conveniently aligned with Ethereum, ETH, and, by pure coincidence, seemed to benefit people he was closely connected to. Come on, get out of here. You know how it goes. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Let's keep rolling. Uyeda had his team dig into several SEC statements, all tied to how they've been regulating crypto over the years. Among them, a 2022 memo from the Division of Corporation Finance outlining how crypto companies should handle disclosures during market chaos or bankruptcies. Oh, and let's not forget a 2021 risk alert from the Division of Enforcement, warning about investor risks due to, you guessed it, unclear rules and security gaps. Unclear rules? No kidding. We've been shouting this from the rooftops for years. Turns out, we were right all along. Of course, we were right. And now it's being proven. The last administration wasn't about justice or fairness. It was about pushing their own agenda. It wasn't grounded in reality. It was purely what they wanted, but we fought back. We survived the nonsense, scored some big wins along the way, especially for XRP, and lived to tell the tale. And now, with a new administration in charge, those battles, they're done, finished. Trump wasn't kidding when he said the war on crypto was over. Peace reigns, and we're here for it. Let's move forward. Here's another twist in the tale. A 2020 memo from the Division of Trading and Markets is back in the spotlight. It questions whether state-chartered banks, like some in Wyoming, or trust companies can legally hold digital assets under the SEC's custody rule. Uyeda wants answers on that. He's also shining a light on a 2021 advisory from the Division of Investment Management, which raised eyebrows over mutual funds diving into Bitcoin futures. But wait, there's more. Uyeda has also flagged a 2020 guidance note on how companies disclose COVID-19's impact on operations. This is all part of a larger cleanup effort tied to Donald Trump's deregulation order and recommendations from the Department of Government Efficiency. According to the agency, the goal of this review is, and I quote, to identify staff statements that should be modified or rescinded consistent with current agency priorities, end quote. Love to see it. Uyeda's move is only fanning the flames of an already heated debate. John Deaton, a well-known lawyer supporting XRP holders, stirred things up on X by calling out the SEC directly. He boldly stated, and I quote, "We need to finish cleaning up the industry with full transparency of past transgressions, including the SEC releasing the IG report related to Bill Hinman and his infamous Ether speech," end quote. Spot on, John. Couldn't agree more. I think we're heading in the right direction. Even if the truth doesn't paint a pretty picture for the government, a new administration is in charge. And let's be real, they'll happily shift the blame to the previous one. Honestly, Trump seems to be having fun doing just that. From the top down, change feels inevitable. But hey, just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't make any buying or selling decisions based on my musings. If I happen to be right, that would probably be a really, really bad idea.